Hey guys, this is Scott. Welcome to part 2 of my Philco Town Country. On my last video, I basically did a first look video and we fired this set up, and if you'll recall, the set does operate and it does play, except that it has a vertical issue with a line right through the middle of the screen. So that's easy enough to fix, and I was taking a look at the set and the schematic, and I think I know where the problem is. It's got to be one of these paper caps in the vertical section, and you know, it's a situation where if I could change this cap out easily enough, if I could get underneath this board, which I could probably do to recap it, I think I could get that situation taken care of. However, I've gone ahead and decided to do a complete restoration on this set, and I'll show you why here in just a second. But one thing I wanted to show you was, one thing I like to do is try to find as much information on sets that I'm restoring as I can, and I recently acquired this magazine ad, and I believe it was Esquire, and it's from December of 1961, and it's a magazine ad for the very set that I'm working on. So it's kind of interesting to look at. You know, it says New TV Elegance, and of course it's got a picture of the set here, and this is really kind of interesting. A coffee pot and a cup, and it's sitting on a counter here. But here's something you don't see in modern advertising: a little cup full of cigarettes. That's certainly not politically correct to do these days, if in fact if it's not illegal. I'm not even sure about that, but it's kind of interesting, the description it gives of the set: introducing the world's finest high-performance TV, Town & Country by Philco. And then it's got some explanation here of the controls and features, hideaway handle. I think this is kind of an interesting picture: a guy in a convertible and a lady on a horse. Looks like she's a polo player or something. I guess that's trying to communicate elegance or something like that. Here's the newest, most beautiful portable TV ever created. Okay. And this is kind of interesting. You can pause and read this if you like. I think that's an interesting comment, but you must see it in the metal. You must pick it up, set it down, and spin it around, walk it, watch it. And you must pay a little more for it, too. Yeah, right. Total TV guarantee, parts, tubes, even service labor at no extra cost to you. 90 days. So that's interesting. And then a fellow who watches my videos and comments quite often, at the end of the first look video, sent a nice comment, and his name, he's on YouTube, and his name is, well, I'm just going to call him Jerry C, because I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. I'll just butcher that. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that, Jerry, so I'm sorry. So I'm just going to call you Jerry C. But he sent a nice comment and sent me a link to a television commercial for Philco Town Country that ran obviously in the early 60s. And I'm going to put it into the description of this video. And so after this video is over, if you like, you can click on that link and take a look at the TV commercial for this television set, which is kind of interesting. It's a fairly hokey commercial, as most commercials on TV back then were. But it's kind of, I really appreciate Jerry sending that to me. It was kind of cool to see that. So anyway, back to the restoration on this TV, and the one thing that I got to checking, you know, I have people ask me, you know, well, why did you make a decision to restore this TV? Because, you know, it appears to be in good shape, and it's true, it's not that old, considering that it's a 61 or 62 model. It was probably built at the end of 62 and sold in the built at the end of 1961 and sold in 1962 model year. So it's really not that old as far as vintage TVs goes, and the picture tube's in really good shape. And it, you know, I could probably repair this set and get it playing, but one thing that I always check when doing a restoration or looking at any TV that I collect is checking out the power supply. Okay, the power supply is really the heartbeat of any electronic item. It's kind of like the heart of a human being, for that matter. It generates and supplies voltages throughout the whole set. Okay, and this power supply is actually pretty simple. It's a pretty simple concept. Here you have the power coming in, and then right off the bat, one side's grounded, so it's a hot chassis. One side's on the AC line is grounded, and then before the switch, you know, we've got these caps right here, which are really safety type caps, and I believe in this set they're located right there. Okay, so I'll be replacing those with good safety caps, because in this design, you know, there's power on these caps constantly as long as the set's plugged in. So you know, and it's kind of interesting, there's two here in parallel, and I'm not real sure what the point of that was. I'm not sure if that's needed, but I've never ran into that before, but there's two caps there. Then we have the switch, and then we go to a 5.6 ohm fusible resistor, and then it comes off down here and provides AC voltage for the filament string for all the tubes, and also for the neon lamp. The set uses a neon lamp, which is why when I originally powered it up, it took a long time for this lamp to light up. The voltage had to be higher for it to light. And then on the UHF models, there was a thermistor included in that. And there's a 32 ohm 10 watt resistor right here, and that's a pretty critical resistor I'll be checking out. So okay, so that's part of the power goes there, and then on this part here we come to C1, which is a filter cap, and then we go through this diode, and then this choke right here, this 33 ohm choke, it's L20, and I believe that is right here. So here's the fusible resistor, and then we come to the filter choke, and then off of that there's a 275 volt source. We come on down, there's a 265 volt source. Down further, after all these dropping resistors, there's a 165 volt source, as well as these two lines here both have more filter caps. And then here there's a 190 volt source, and there's another electrolytic cap there going to ground. So this power supply is giving out four different voltages. that operate various circuits throughout the set. So what I'm going to do is walk you through here what I found. Filter caps are not doing well, and then also imperative to this too is these resistors here. So the only way to get to the filter caps and some of those resistors are back in here. Alright, so the only way to get to that is to completely disassemble this set and pull this frame, which is basically a picture frame chassis, and it comes out. So, you know, we'll have to take the front off. There's some bolts here and there, and this picture tube will slide out the front, and this outside frame will come off, and we'll be left with a really just a chassis sitting here as a frame. And then we can go in from the other side here and work on the power supply there. So if I'm going to do that, I might as well go through all these boards, change all these caps out, these paper caps, and check all the resistors, and do the same over here. There's a few paper caps on this board here. Here's one here. There's one down here. That's not a cap, but there's two or three. So might as well, if I'm going to have this thing apart, go ahead and deal with those circuit boards and get those cleaned up and make sure all the resistors are right, and see if we can get this set performing like it was when it was brand new. Okay, so let's go ahead and start checking some of these voltages and you'll see what I mean. Okay, so the first place we're going to check our voltage coming off the power supply is right here at 0.21. Should get 265 volts. And that happens to be located right here off this pin. You can't see it up underneath there, but trust me, it's connected to this pin that comes out. And we'll be looking at the old meter here to see if we're getting the right voltage. So if you're wondering how I found that out, or how I determined that, was, well, in your SAMs, there's a great pictures of these circuit boards that are in this set, and it shows you right here 0.21 on the schematic. It shows right here 265 volts is what we should get if we connect right there at that little stake. So that's where we're connected. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the set. See if I can get this out of the glare. Firing up the set now. And not sure that we're connected on there right. Yeah, something's wrong here. Oh, I know why. Hang on, I had a cord come undone. Okay, now that I have my little technical problem fixed, you can see right there that we're getting 193 volts. And we're supposed to be getting 265. So 193 is way off. The next point we need to check is number 20. And I'm going to probably have to set the camera down to hook the lead up to that one. That's on this board as well. It's down here. I kind of have to lean this set up to do it, so just a second. Okay, I got that connected in there. And again, this is the 275 volt source, so go ahead and fire up the set. And you can see we're at we topped out there at 242, and now we're dropping, which it's not uncommon for the voltage to drop as the tubes warm up and all the components warm up. But yeah, we're supposed to have 275 volts, and we're going to end up right at 202. So that is wrong. And see, the next voltage you're going to be looking for will be 165. And let's find, that's source 7. Okay. Okay, there's number 7. It should be right on top of this resistor right here. Don't know that I'm going to be able to get my gator clip. Yeah, he's stuck on there. Okay, so that should be 165 volts. Yeah, and you can see there we're at least 35 volts short on that. That's gonna kind of top out at 130. And so the last point is 6. And it's supposed to be 190. It's right there. Right there. And that's at 118. That's way off. Okay, so I think it's pretty clear that there is not enough juice. There's not enough voltage going through the set. And I don't know if you can see that picture tube there. Now, the camera's making it look kind of funny, but and most times when you look at a CRT, you know, you see a flickering like that, but that is definitely, it definitely looks like there's not enough voltage going through. I haven't checked the high voltage, and I'm probably not going to. I would suspect that we don't have the voltage we need on the CRT either. So it doesn't really matter what it is. I'll worry about checking that after I've done all the work. But I think it's pretty clear that the power supply on this set is not up to snuff. Now there could be something else causing problems, causing the voltage to be drawn down, and I understand that, but without being able to check those electrolytics, without taking this thing apart, you know, I'll just feel better if I have a new set of electrolytics, which I've already got all the caps that I need to do this TV. Since I did do my introductory video, I did get new tubes and replaced the tubes that were weak. It still had no impact on the performance of the set, so I know my tubes are in good shape. So now it's just a matter of you know, going through, doing the normal electrolytic change and checking all the other components on those boards. And I thought this was kind of interesting. There was a cap that I was looking for. It's a 1 microfarad cap that I'm going to need, that I know is on the other side of those circuit boards, that more than likely will need to be changed. And I think I needed it 50 volts, and this one's rated at 250, but I got this at my Radio Shack, which is kind of interesting. You usually don't find too many parts that I need at Radio Shack, but they certainly had this 1 microfarad cap. Anyhow, when I come back, we will start the process of taking this set apart and seeing what we've got. Okay, so here is the TV disassembled. You can see the frame to the set right here. I didn't film my disassembly of this set because it was a little bit awkward, but I thought I'd just kind of show you how it came apart. This is the frame. There were some bolts that come up through the bottom here, and then also some connections to this part here, which the CRT is bolted into. You can see this is really the plastic part of the set, and the CRT still connected to that, which makes it real nice. I can clean the front of that CRT and clean the plastic real good, but that just slid right out through the front. And then of course got a piece of safety glass here, alright, which will be cleaned real not good, and then the bezel that goes over that, which was just held on by 2 screws right here. So overall the set comes apart very nicely. It's just a little bit awkward to get apart, but really there's all the hardware that holds this thing together, and then of course the speaker is connected to the side of the metal frame there. But now, as you can see what I was talking about, you can see here's basically the power supply from the front side. This is the picture frame chassis, and you can take a look here and see there's basically the power supply. 3 electrolytic caps here, and then here's a couple of other capacitors and some resistors, a couple other resistors here that are associated with the power supply. So yeah, there's absolutely no way to get to that without disassembling it to this point. So, and then of course there's easier access here to these caps on this circuit board. Of course I'll have to disconnect a few connections, it looks like here, and then there's some of those solder clamps that hold the PC board on. Those will have to come off. Of course I'll take all the tubes out. And then this PC board on the other side, you know, you can see it's got that shield, so it looks like this will have to be removed, and it has the same type of solder lugs on the other side that you can desolder and pull this board out, and of course several wires connected to it as well. So fun stuff, disconnecting all of that. But I think what I'm going to start on first is start on the electrolytics and get them changed. And I think for this set, I don't think I'm going to restuff. For example, here, this cap here will replace this cap right here. I think it'll fit down in here nicely, and it'll create a little bit more room as well as a little bit more airflow down through here. This is kind of congested, and I'm sure it gets pretty warm down here. This is, I believe, a 4-section cap. It's pretty large, so I'll have to try to figure out some way of reconnecting all that up with probably a strip. Same thing with this one right here. I believe it's, if I remember right, it's a 2-section cap. So, and of course I need to check these resistors and make sure they're good and get this all buttoned up, then attack the circuit boards with those paper caps, and make sure that all the other resistors in here are in good shape. But yeah, it's a really interesting design. Really interesting the way they constructed this and engineered it. They packed a lot of TV in a very small space. So anyway, I think this will be the end of part 2. When I come back in part 3, I'll be working on putting the electrolytics in and have some work done to show you. But until then, thanks for watching. More to come real soon.